Ahoy!
Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream movie show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick. Welcome.
How are you,
Welcome.
Nick?
Very good. How are you?
I'm also very good.
I'm really excited.
I'm pretty excited myself. I'm not going to lie. This one's going to be a ride, everybody. This week, Nick played his wild card, and in doing so, we've got a competition going on this season. I'm pretty sure most people are aware of it now, to pick the worst film at the end of the season. Nick has gone all in on a film called Alien Warfare. Alien Warfare is from 2019. It is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 28 minutes and is currently rated at 2.6 on IMDb. The one thing we did notice this week is that this film doesn't even have a trailer.
No.
And
last week, didn't we? We thought, oh, let's watch the trailer. No, it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Didn't even bother making one.
The poster of the movie, bearing in mind the movie was released in 2019, has an old Netflix logo on that predates 2019 by quite a long way. So this, we don't even know why. It's not a Netflix original, so we don't know why it's got a Netflix logo on the poster, but it has.
To say this is under the radar would be a huge understatement.
This is bottom of the stream. We've had to dig into the silt at the bottom for this one.
Yeah, we're panning, definitely.
Definitely. If anybody has seen this film before Nick chose it as his wild card, let us know, because I think we might be the first people who have ever watched it. And we're certainly the first people who have ever done a podcast episode about it.
There can't be another podcast about this movie. Surely not.
Anyway, Alien Warfare stars a guy called Clayton Snyder. No relation to Zach. I did check. He plays a character called Mike. He is a former professional water polo player for the United States of America, and he also starred in the Lizzie McGuire movie from 2003.
Okay.
Stars also David B. Meadows as Chris, who is Mike's brother. He seems to enjoy Bruce Willis. He's in 2 previous Bruce Willis films.
Oh, okay.
He was in 10 Minutes Gone.
Never heard of it.
And Acts of Violence.
I've never heard of that.
He's in both of them, and Bruce Willis is also in both of them. And he's actually a former ex-Navy SEAL.
Oh, okay.
He plays a Navy SEAL in this film, and he actually was a sniper for the Navy SEALs before he became an actor.
Good. He should be brilliant then.
Should be, yeah. Also stars a guy called Daniel Washington, who plays Jonesy. You may have recognised him. He was in a film called Detroit from a few years ago.
Yeah, I have seen that.
I have seen it as well. It's one of the most uncomfortable films I've ever seen.
And I must say, I did notice when his name came up, and it did make me chuckle, because I thought, is he a rip-off Denzel Washington?
Yes. Detroit's a really uncomfortable watch.
Yeah.
It's not a nice film. It's Will Poulter's in it, and he's brilliant in it, but he makes you hate him.
Yeah.
Directed by a guy called Jeremiah Jones, which sounds like an old gold hunter from the 1800s.
It does, yeah.
This is his first and so far only feature. And written by 3 guys, Dave Baker, Nathan Zobel, and Ben Bailey. Again, not many of them have any credits on IMDb. Nick, do you have a one-word review of Alien Warfare?
I'm just going with brutal.
Brutal?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't wait to talk about this. Where does this film start, Nick?
There's some comets, and they're coming to Earth.
One of them definitely seems to be heading towards Earth. It seems to cut its path and head towards there intentionally.
It does.
And then there's an impact.
Yeah.
We see it burning up through the atmosphere, and then we see it hit the Earth, and then we cut straight into our title card. And then we're in Los Angeles. The screen comes up, tells us where we are. We're in LA, and there is a man shouting at his TV.
Is he watching the hockey or the baseball or something?
He was watching something because he was going on about boxing.
Oh,
I don't think he was watching. I don't think he was watching boxing. I think he might have been watching hockey. I think he might have been watching hockey,
Okay.
And then was saying you would be a better boxer. But then his phone rings and he gets a phone call, and he's basically told to gather the entire team, including Mike.
Yeah, you got to bring Mike.
He's very reluctant to bring Mike. Mike, it turns out, was fired 8 months ago, and Chris seems to be estranged from him, hasn't spoken to him since, and is reluctant to bring him back into the team, but the guy on the other end of the phone is adamant.
It's got to be all of you.
Got to be all of you. And we should meet tomorrow at 1300 hours, because it's military. And then we got, which turned out to be a flashback, but was not clear that it was a flashback. It's some Navy SEALs storming a farm building.
I mean, yes. Someone's shed.
Somebody's shed is being stormed by 4 Navy SEAls. There's some Arabic writing on, so we're assuming there's some Arabs in there.
Yeah. I think this was pretty racist, to be honest.
Maybe a little bit questionable. I've written, there is a government type being held hostage.
Yes.
We never really find out who he is, but he's got a suit on. So it turns out the SEALs have been sent in to rescue this guy from these terrorists.
Yep.
There's a bit of a standoff.
How do you know the terrorists? There's a lady in a burqa and what looked to me pretty much like a white guy, I've got to say.
Yeah, agreed.
Dressed as an Islamic terrorist.
Indeed. There's a standoff. The SEALs start disagreeing about the best way to handle this. Mike and Chris, and they do not appear to be on the same page in this project.
There's a lot of bickering, isn't there, in this movie?
There is a lot of bickering, and it eventually ends up with this hostage getting shot and killed, and then the 2 terrorists also get shot and killed. Basically, everybody dies.
Yeah, apart from our SWAT guys.
Apart from our SEALs, yeah. I've written here that was a flashback because that's when it appears that was a flashback. And we meet Mike for the first time. Mike is teaching old ladies how to shoot guns.
He is, yeah.
It was quite a comical scene, I thought. I thought it was quite good because she was going on about how good she was.
This might surprise you. I'm going to give this movie a bit of praise because I was pleasantly surprised by some of the back and forth.
Some of the dialogue is really good.
I wouldn't go that far, but
some of the dialogue is good.
It was not as completely hopelessly written. It is as a whole, but some of the dialogue, the back and forth, was all right, actually.
Yeah, agreed. It turns out Mike works at this shooting range, and Chris shows up, and we get the reveal at this point that these 2 are brothers.
Yeah, proper bros.
Yeah, but they're estranged since this mission went wrong and Mike lost his job. But Chris says to him, "Look, you've been drafted back in. You don't really get any choice in this matter. You're back in. You've got meet us tomorrow at 1 o'clock or 1300 hours."
Just to make that clear, yeah.
Then I've written, Mike goes to a bar for some flashbacks. Because
Did you notice at the bar? So Mike's the only guy there, and the barmaid's giving him googly eyes, and then the woman he sits next to just starts stroking him.
Yeah, she did.
My God, this guy's irresistible to women. Another one.
He's a chick magnet. He had a few flashbacks of the scene that we'd already seen, and then he left the bar. That was literally, there was no need for that scene whatsoever. Because we cut straight from there to the meeting the next day.
Sure.
We're in their base, I guess, where they meet.
Looks like a mechanic's garage.
It does, yeah. It's just a dartboard on the wall, a few chairs dotted around and a table, and that's about it. Jonesy starts talking about why they're here, and he starts slagging off the CIA. And
yeah, so we meet the other 2 on the team, don't we?
Yeah, we meet Jonesy and Thorpe.
Yeah.
I've got names in this one, so it must be all right. Although I did think they were saying 4 to start with, and I was like, no, it's Thorpe. Yeah, Jonesy starts slagging off these CIA guys, and then they walk in, and he kind of puts his foot in it in that classic scene.
Yeah.
And they get told...
I was just going to say, but just before that, before the feds arrive, there's some real, weird man banter.
Banter?
They were having... Manta, I've never heard that before. I've got to steal it. And Jonesy is having a go at Thorpe because he's been seeing a foreign woman in inverted commas.
But he's not been seeing her.
Yeah.
He's got one picture.
Yeah, he's trying to have his way with her. And James is like, you should be with a good old American girl. And he says, I've quoted this, I wrote it down. He says, why are you messing around with a commie girl from bumfuck wherever?
It's a good line.
Like, okay. Wasn't expecting that.
And then he gets quite precious about his blender, doesn't he? Because he's on his protein shakes. And
yes.
Jones, Thorpe gives him some back about that. And it's just back and forth banter. I think I've just made up banter and I'm sticking with it.
It's fine.
And then, like we said, the CIA suits come in. Jonesy puts his foot in it because he's slagging them off when they walk in. But they've got a mission for these 4 guys. Because Mike shows up at this point as well. So he does appear. And the CIA
1,300 hours.
Yes, dead on time. The guys reveal that this order comes straight from POTUS.
Yeah.
This is straight from the president.
And Chris says, oh yeah, well I'm not surprised. We did save his daughter's life 2 years ago.
Yep.
I was like, well, glad you did something successful because all we've seen is you fuck up on missions.
Do you think do you think we got a prequel tease?
Maybe, yeah. Because all the Fed guys are like, oh, you're the best of the best. The president asked for you personally.
Yeah. Basically, what's happened is where the government have lost contact with a secret base, and currently over 100 people, including scientists, are missing.
Right, I had to rewind this bit several times because you know when they show the drone footage,
yeah,
when they're briefing the team, and they go, "This was taken at, I don't know, 1,600 hours,"
yeah,
and this photo was taken 30 seconds later. And all the guys in the room went, oh my God, where's everyone gone? I couldn't tell the difference between the photos.
There was no difference between the photos. They were exactly the same.
You're going to really enjoy this movie, aren't you? Because
man.
It was so shit.
Yeah, I think I texted you last night and said, I think you've made a mistake here. But I was only 7 minutes in at that point, I should say. Yeah, basically, they've lost contact with this military base. And so the guys obviously asked the obvious question, well, what do they do in this base? But the CIA guys are like, we can't tell you that, it's classified. But you've got to save it. Whatever they're doing there, you need to rescue that as well as the people who are missing. And
you'll know it when you see it.
Yeah, so as soon as you see it, you'll know what we're talking about. And then we head off. We go and we arrive at the Valatovia forest in the Caucasus. Have you ever heard of the Caucasus before?
No.
Apparently, the Caucasus is a real place.
Okay.
It's a region spanning Europe and Asia and is situated between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, mainly occupied by Armenia, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and southern Russia.
I totally missed that. I thought they were still in America.
No, they're in southern Russia, I believe. Okay. They're in the Valatovia forest, and it says here the Caucasus is home mainly to mountain land.
They look pretty flat where they were, but that's
it's considered a natural barrier between Eastern Europe and Western Asia.
Got ya.
So that's where we are. We're somewhere in the Caucasus, and the guys are on the floor. They're in the forest, trekking through the forest, trying to find this base, and they're half a click from the base. Apparently, they realise. Do you know how far a click is?
1,000 meters.
It is. It's a kilometre. I didn't know that. I've learned something. And Jonesy and Thorpe are debating what might be going on at this base as they're walking.
Because Thorpe's like a bit of a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, he loves his conspiracy theories. So he thinks it's dark science is his terms.
Sure.
And then they get there. They reach the base. They've split up into 2 separate teams. One's gone to like the back and one's gone to the front. And
they're I suppose they're securing the perimeter, aren't they?
Yeah, basically. They come to a chicken wire fence.
Yeah.
And
it's pretty secure.
I think it's Chris points out that it's eerily silent. You can't even hear any animals in the area.
Yeah, there's no birds.
There's no birds. There's no people. There's no wildlife. And then it's revealed that they've got this drone. They've got a drone.
Yeah.
So we get a first bit of CGI drone footage. Mike's controlling it. He's got like a remote control, and they don't really see anything because they're there anyway. So I don't really understand why they needed a drone. But
we already saw drone photos showing the place was deserted.
Deserted, exactly. Yeah.
And it's still deserted.
Chris reveals that they're going to go in the front door. Mike does not agree with that. They have a bit of a back and forth. These two still don't really get on. They're They bicker quite a lot.
Chris is in sort of he's the team leader and Mike's kind of struggling with that, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think that was the dynamic earlier in their cares. Maybe I think this is new for Mike.
That's right. Yeah.
But they decide to go in the front door. It's Chris's mission. Chris is making the orders. They're going in the front door.
Sure.
And this is where we get our first reveal that something is watching them.
Yeah.
Now, to make out that something's watching them, the screen goes blue, goes a bit wobbly and wavy, and the audio that we've just heard is played back in super slow motion.
So, what's with the time here? Why did we see the same thing twice?
You see it through presumably they've seen it through the eyes of the aliens, what we've just seen before.
Yes, but if you think to a proper film, such as Predator, for example, where you see this sort of gimmick, you will see the thing watching them, so you see through that lens, you'll hear the conversation, and then you'll cut back to your protagonist, and they'll carry on the conversation. But here, they'll speak 2 lines of dialogue, and then we'll see the same 2 lines of dialogue from the alien's viewpoint. And
correct.
I just thought it was really weird.
It is a bit strange, but I suppose it's budgetary restrictions. I don't know.
I guess so.
They all appear at the front door. They'll arrive at the front door. Chris tells Jonesy to get the Geiger counter out to have a quick read before they go in to make sure there's no radiation. And there's not. It's normal. They're able to go in. So they do. They go in. Now, when they go in, they're expecting to find bodies everywhere because there's 100 people missing.
Sure.
But there's nobody there. There's no bodies. There's no body. And there's no bodies.
There's like half-eaten donuts, so people have just upped and left.
Yeah, there's...
Mid-task.
Thorpe describes it as there's no signs of engagement. So there's no signs of any battle. There's no bullet holes in the walls or anything like that. People have literally just vanished. And then, so they continue their sweep. They leave the lobby.
They split up, don't they?
Yeah, they split back up into their 2 teams. And Thorpe spots a pile of ashes on the floor, a very small pile of ashes. And then it's revealed that there's more piles of ashes all over the place. Chris and Mike find some as well.
I'd say there's about 99.
99 piles of ashes, maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Chris and Mike walk into a room and they find a gas stove that's still cooking something.
Yeah, someone's like cooking bacon or something.
Yeah, it was a tin of something. I think it might be beans or something. And then they hear some noises, and it turns out I've written a man runs away from them, but it isn't a man. It is a lady. They catch up with her. I think Thorpe and Jonesy catch her originally, don't they?
I mean,
after a bit of a chase.
It's a bit of a slightly sexist hot scientist. She's not sexist. I mean, the movie is sexist.
She's well sexist. We meet our only female character in this, although one of the aliens is a female. We meet Isabella. She is a scientist. She's the only surviving person at this military base. Yeah. Jonesy, as we find out at this point, is the team medic because he owns a stethoscope. So he shines a
fully qualified.
Shines a torch in her eyes and then listens to her chest through a telescope and declares that she's okay. There's nothing wrong with her. It's just like,
I'm just gonna check you out.
So they have a bit of a chat with this girl to find out what happens, and she's like, I can't really tell you what happened, but I can show you.
Yeah.
So then we get one of our first lift scenes. Now, this is a joke that's played out in quite a lot of films over the years.
Yeah.
Where you basically, all your action stops, everybody stops, they're standing in a lift and there's music playing in the background. It's funny. It's funny. It happens in this film 5 times.
I mean, yeah, they go back to that well.
They do. They love that joke so much. It takes them underground. It's a dark lab, which is hidden from radars because it's 3 stories underground. Ooh,
so this is the first, and again, this is something that happens again and again. This scientist lady, Isabella, knows everything.
Yeah.
She's like, what did she say? She's a soil scientist.
Yeah,
so she's
a biologist,
the biologist. But Thorpe sort of says to her, is this what did you call it? A dark lab. Does that mean it's lead lined and free, impenetrable to radar? And she's of course it is.
It is, yeah. Nobody can see it. Nobody knows it's here. It's a mystery. So she takes them down into this lab, and then she's like, if I show you what's the other side of this door, I could get life in prison. But here you go. And then she just opens the door.
Yeah. Fuck that.
She does not debate it for 1 second. What she shows them is a floating black piece of rock.
Like a monolith, isn't it?
It's She calls it the device. That's what the scientists have dubbed it. One of the guys says, "Oh, well, you built it," and she's like, "We found it." She also reveals that they don't know what it is, that they don't know where it came from, and they don't know how it got here. Which leads them to believe that it is possibly extraterrestrial.
Sure.
She then reveals at this point that something triggered the device, and everybody got vaporized.
Well,
on the base.
Kind of. I was really confused at this point because you get like a flashback, don't you?
Yeah.
And she says we had 20 minutes to evacuate.
Yeah, they got a warning that something was about to happen. So they were given 20 minutes to evacuate. And then something did happen. All the
scientists turned up and shot it.
Yeah.
But then it just vaporized everyone.
Because we're humans and that's what we do. They turned up with like this laser, didn't they? And they tried to laser it.
I was just really confused at what they were evacuating from, and
they never got their 20 minutes because somebody. They never got their 20 minutes because somebody attacked it, and when they attacked it, it let off a pulse which vaporized everybody in the whole base except for Isabella, because Isabella was luckily in the Faraday room.
Yeah, she was sorting out her soils.
Yeah, she was sorting out her soils. And she was in this Faraday room, so the electromagnetic or electro pulse didn't get her. And that's why she's the only one that survived, because she was just lucky she happened to be in this room.
Yeah.
And that's what the pile of ashes are, basically. The pile of ashes are all the people. Tiny little piles of ashes. Chris panics. Chris is like, right, we need to get out of here. We need to evacuate. We've found out what's happened. That was the mission. We've got a survivor. We've secured the device.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. Let's leave. We've done the mission's complete almost. So he sends Thorpe up to the roof.
Yeah, he's hoping to get a line to HQ. Yeah.
Yeah. Something is watching Thorpe on the roof. We get the same blue wavy footage again, and Chris and Mike are arguing again, and the device turns itself on. It starts doing some sort of weird light show.
There's some light readings on it.
Yeah, there's some characters like coming around it and things like that. It's all gone a bit strange. And Thorpe radios over and says, "Look, something's sending out a signal. I can't get any."
He says the drones picked up something in the air, but I can't see anything.
Yeah, there's nothing there. I can't see it. But then he does see something because he goes all agog. His mouth goes, "Whoa, what was that?" Then they hear some noises, and then it turns out the drones crash to the ground. So they go back out to the front steps, don't they?
Yeah.
And the drones there, I thought drones were a lot bigger than that.
Yeah, I think they are.
Is that my naivety or what? Because it didn't look much bigger than a paper aeroplane. But it did some damage to those steps when it landed. It destroyed them.
How much did Thorpe look like the budget version of Josh Brolin?
He really did. I picked that up as well. He really did. Budget Brolin.
Yeah.
So they're outside the front of this building. They can't see anything. There's nothing there. And then suddenly something fires at them. A blue explosion goes off next to them.
Yeah.
So Chris and Mike dive behind a wall. And when they poke their heads up again, there's 4 creatures standing there in front of them.
Sure, they're armoured, aren't they?
They are fully suited up alien beings.
Yeah, sort of cardboard armour.
Yeah. Chris goes out. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to talk to these things.
Yeah, peaceful approach.
So he heads out the front. They can see him and hear him, but again, it's all in slow motion and blue waviness.
They also appear to be wearing like mittens.
Yeah, and really weird boots as well. They spot Thorpe on the roof and they shoot at him. So everybody opens fire. Chris and Mike start firing at the aliens. Thorpe dives away from. He doesn't get hit, but they have some sort of force field around them. Sure. The bullets don't make any difference to them, and they're not even hitting them. So they retreat. The two guys run back inside. They say to Jonesy, "Initiate a lockdown." And he gives Isabella a gun at this point. He's like, I'm going to go and initiate this lockdown because he has to go find a card to do it.
Jones is like, I have no idea how to lock down this building. Do you know? You're a soil scientist. And she's like, yeah, I know exactly how we lock down the building.
You need this card that's in the lobby, and then you need to run it through this card reader, and that will lock all the doors.
Yeah, but the card reader is next to the front door.
Yeah.
Can't do it from this safe space.
No, not at all. So he goes back up the lift in the 3 stories. He gives Isabella a gun before he leaves, and he just knowing these doors are still open, he runs in like an idiot and gets shot at. And then he does manage to lock it down just before the aliens are about to walk through the door.
Yeah, they're in like the threshold, aren't they?
Yeah. And then we get another lift scene with the music playing as they all go back downstairs. Mike's got a theory now that these aliens have turned up to activate this device.
Yeah, so this is now taken as granted. This is what's happening.
This is what's happening. That they've come here to activate the device, which will then wipe out the entire human race.
Yeah, so he says it's an invasion.
Yeah.
These 4 aliens are invading us. And they've come to fix the bomb, and then they're going to use it on us.
Yeah. So that's quite big news. Not for Jonesy, though, because Jonesy goes off to make a protein shake because he needs one. Yeah. It's been 3 hours since his last one. He does a bit of a flirt with Isabella. He just kind of rolls his sleeves up and shows her his arms.
Yeah.
She knocks him back and calls him an imbecile. Isabella then finds a video feed to the outside so she can now see what the aliens are doing outside.
Yeah, she can hack that stuff as well.
She can do that. And it turns out they're building a perimeter fence out of lasers because aliens.
Never comes back into play.
No, never once mentioned again, never even seen again. We go outside, it's not even there. They send Thorpe back out to try and establish some communication to get some backup.
They do exactly the same plan again.
Yeah, go back up to the roof, see if you can figure out how to get some backup here. Isabella reveals at this point that she's got a hobby.
Yeah.
Her hobby is...
She's a clever scientist. I don't know if we've mentioned this.
Her hobby in her downtime is deciphering alien language.
Yeah, she's a cryptographist.
Have you seen Arrival?
I have, yeah.
That's a great film. That's on Netflix as well.
Yeah. She's Amy Adams in that, but only in her spare time.
Yeah, only as a hobby. It's a hobby. She describes it as a hobby. So she's been trying to translate the characters that are appearing on the side of the device. And she's surmised that it's possible that this thing is counting something down. It's a countdown.
Yeah.
She's completely made this up. I don't know where she's got this from. Turns out it isn't. Chris, Mike, and Jonesy then head back to the lobby of this building, which they know is secure. They know nothing's inside, but they still creep about like Navy SEALs, like clearing every room on their way there. And Mike is going to try and hack the communication system.
He is, yeah. Because he's going to try and get an outside line, basically.
Yeah, he's like, I'll open this computer box, and there'll be one cable in there, and that's all I'm going to need. And when he opens it, there's obviously 200 cables inside. So they argue again. And then on the video feed that Isabella's still watching, one of the aliens disappears, just vanishes. And then it reappears inside.
Yeah, so the whole door thing was completely pointless.
So when they stopped at the doors earlier and built the fence, they didn't need to. They could have just got teleported.
Yeah.
Because these things can teleport. They shoot at it again. Again, it makes no difference. And they throw a grenade at it. And just before the grenade goes off, it teleports itself back outside.
It does.
But they've got its gun now. It dropped its gun.
Yeah, it leaves its alien hardware behind.
It does. Again, that's not really ever mentioned again. Then 2 come in.
It comes back with its beefy friend.
Yeah. So 2 aliens come inside and they retreat then. They're like, right, we can't do anything about this. So they run and the aliens chase them. And one of the aliens shoots the sat phone out of Chris's hand, which explodes in slow motion, glorious slow motion. But this, surprisingly, takes the aliens to its knees.
Yeah, it's like clutching its ears, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like something... Shooting that phone hurt that alien for somehow. Something's going on there.
I don't think we've said as well. We can't see what the aliens look like because they are covered in armour and they've got helmets on.
Yeah, they have, yeah. So the other aliens come in and they pick up their fallen comrade. And everybody's a bit like, oh, I wonder what happened there. And it turns out the sat phone's now fucked. All the circuit boards have fused together, apparently. And Isabella's like, can't we just hunker down here and wait for somebody to come looking for you? And he's like, nobody will start to look for us for 7 hours. Don't know why, just won't.
Yeah.
They can't get the alien gun to work because apparently it's triggered by DNA, according to Chris. I don't know how he's got that from as well.
But knowing how talented Isabella is, I'm surprised she didn't have a go at making it work.
Yeah, she didn't.
I'd have been all right with that.
Yeah.
If they'd have had an alien gun that they could have shot back with, I'd have been down for that.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It needed DNA. Mike then gives the standard American movie Patriot speech. We are US Navy SEALs. We are better than these things. Blah, blah, blah. He bigs up Chris a little bit. Chris calls the situation batshit crazy, which is my line. He's stolen my line. But then they realise that the aliens can see electricity.
Sure.
So when even the electricity in your body. So when the sat phone exploded, it was like a flashbang going off in this alien's face. So I
think they describe it as they got overstimulated.
Yes, basically.
Sounds a bit naughty, but
So they figure from this knowledge that there's a massive generator in this building somewhere, and if they destroy this generator, that will knock their senses out, but only for 1 minute.
Yeah, exactly 1 minute.
Exactly 1 minute.
Oh dear.
Whilst the aliens are there distracted by this 1 minute, the other 3 Navy SEALs can shoot them, kill them. End of story.
So what the plan they want to do, they want to carry out is bring as many electrical items as they can to one place.
Yep.
They will then lure the aliens to said place, set off the generator, create a electrical surge, thus blinding the aliens and enabling them to kill or escape them.
Yep. Kill or escape, exactly. Unfortunately, the generator's on the first floor. Because you always put you never put generators on the ground floor. You always put them upstairs.
No, put them upstairs. Well, no fact.
However, so it's going to be difficult to get to.
That's where the aliens are.
That's where the aliens are. It's going to be difficult to get to. But until Isabella reveals that not only does this place have a Faraday room, it has a prototype Faraday suit, which is basically a blue boiler suit. And if they wear that, the electrical impulses won't escape from it, and they will basically be invisible to these aliens.
Unfortunately, there's only one.
Yep. So here's our plan. Our plan is destroy the generator. When the aliens are blinded, the other 3 can take them out, and they'll bait them into this one area by putting all the electrics in the same place. So they start to gather electrics. Jonesy has a dicky fit when they gather up his blender that he loves.
So I was going to take that home.
Yeah, he literally loves that thing, and he eventually takes it away. He doesn't let them use it. Mike is suiting up. He's going to go in this Faraday suit. Chris is a bit against that, but it comes around quite quickly because he's the leader. They need him there.
Yeah, Mike says it can't be you. They need you.
You're the leader. Yeah, exactly. And then we get another lift scene of Mike going up in this lift on his own with the music playing. And when the lift doors open, there's an alien right outside the door, but it doesn't see him because he's wearing a Faraday suit.
And on the radio, Isabella says, "Don't move, he can't see you." All the way through this, Mike is clearly moving quite a lot.
Yeah, quite a lot.
You know, when like when someone tells you, "Don't do something," so you have to do it. That is what it came across.
Don't press,
but not intentionally.
Don't press the big red button.
Exactly.
The alien walks towards him. However, it's not coming for him. It's coming for the speaker to get rid of the music in the lift because it doesn't like it. And it punches the speaker out.
Was that worth the payoff?
Probably not. No. The other 3 all start piling up all the electrical devices downstairs in this one particular room. Somehow managed to plug all of them in.
Yeah.
I don't know how many plugs are in this place. A lot. We get them all working, so there's this big electrical surge going on downstairs now. Mike thinks he's got to the generator room. However, it isn't the generator room. It's just a room. It's like a canteen, I think. And an alien follows him in.
I'm not entirely sure he knows what a generator looks like.
Nor am I. One of the aliens follows him into this room, and it sees him, but only like an outline of him. And Isabella reveals that's because of static.
Yeah.
So she says, "You're covered in static. Don't touch anything metal and it won't see you." So he picks up a spanner.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
It sees him, obviously, and he hits it with his spanner and they have a bit of a scuffle and then he legs it. The other 3 aliens, though, have taken the bait. They have headed towards this room where all the electrics are.
Do you not think that information about the static electricity would have been useful to him before?
Not 100% sure static would build up on a Faraday suit anyway. But I'm going to forgive it. Mike still can't find the generator room. He's screaming at Isabella, where is this room? Where is this room? Where is this room? And
then he finds it straight away.
Yeah, he's just running around basically finding it. The other three are holding fire. They're just shooting at these aliens, even though it's making not a dicky bit of difference.
Why are they still shooting?
They're just shooting it. It's not even there's force fields around them. This was my favourite bit of the film. So Mike gets to the generator room. There's a padlock on the generator. So he's like, key, where would the key be? And he finds this key cabinet on the wall. And there must be 1,000 keys in this key cabinet.
Many keys. And
he's like, oh shit, there's loads of keys. So he starts trying all of these different keys. Then this film takes a turn because Jonesy's blender gets broken.
Yeah, someone's not listened to him and they've put the blender in the pile of electronics.
Yeah, and an alien stands on it and smashes it.
So he is so angry.
It's like somebody stood on his wife.
He's not protecting his brothers, his blood brothers in this group. But because the blender's in danger, he throws himself onto this alien.
Yeah, which teleports with him.
And they have like a comedy fight.
Yeah, but as they're teleporting through the building.
Which is totally out of context of the rest of this movie.
Completely. Mike then realises that he's a Navy SEAL and he's got a gun, so why is he trying to open padlocks with keys? And shoots the lock off this door. Jonesy goes flying through space with this alien.
Yeah, suddenly he's in the Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Except it's probably worse visuals effects than the Lawnmower Man from...
Yeah.
Because he travels to their home planet.
Yeah, he does. Which is just like...
But how would you describe it? I don't even know if I can describe it.
Like 80s line drawings.
Yeah.
It was all done, but it was all electrical lines, wasn't it? It was really weird. But there's buildings.
It was bad.
But they're only
It's
outlines.
Like a skyline, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. And then he turns back up. They teleport back to where they started. And just as they do that, Mike turns on the generator and all the aliens go down. They go to their knees and then suddenly vanish. Except for the big one, the one that was chasing Mike earlier. He's also injured. His ears are ringing. And Mike locks him in the generator room.
Yeah.
So they think, well, the aliens have gone. Success. We've won. Everybody's happy. Which wasn't the plan. Then suddenly one teleports back, grabs Chris and teleports off again in an instant.
Yeah, it takes him off.
Kidnaps Chris.
Got a hostage.
And they take him to a room made of light. That's how I describe it. It's just a white room.
So I don't know if they took him back to their planet or if he's just in this building somewhere, and I don't know.
But basically, he's being interrogated, although these two beings
never asked a question.
They can't communicate with each other, so he's not being interrogated.
He does some acting, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The guy who plays Chris, because all he does is scream at them several times, "What do you want?
What do you want?" Like that. Jones, this is brilliant. Jones's vision that he's just been through helps them decode the alien language because it's something to do with the Fibonacci sequence, because everything in TV and film these days is to do with the Fibonacci sequence.
I don't know how they got there.
They got there somehow, but they did get there.
Because Jones is like, I've seen their home planet.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. And then I'm like, oh, so does that mean this monolith thing is like their world or something? I don't understand.
I don't know, but something to do with the Fibonacci sequence makes the device open.
Yeah.
It kind of cracks open.
They can solve the language, yeah.
Yeah. Mike unlocks the doors, he lifts the lock down, and they head outside where the aliens are holding Chris. They've got him outside in the courtyard. Yeah,
we're back in the same hostage situation.
So we've got a standoff now. So 3 of the aliens have Chris. No, all 4 aliens are there, aren't they, somehow? They've got Chris. The guys come out to try and negotiate. Isabella comes out with the device that's floating next to her. It turns out that there's another alien inside this device, and it's some sort
of... either an old man alien or a baby alien.
I think it was some sort of important alien. I'm going with old man, maybe President Alien, King Alien.
Okay, fine.
It's a life pod. That's what the device is. It's like a spaceship, I guess.
What does the alien look like?
It's got a blue head. It looks all frail and old and blue.
I would say it kind of looks like, what's the guy in Star? Is it Admiral Akbar in Star Wars? But blue. And just
frail.
Not as a good a mask, obviously, as that 40-year-old film.
So Mike points his gun at it, and basically now we've got an exchange. We've got Chris for the life pod. This is what Mike's proposing.
It's echoing the same situation they were in at the start in the flashback, isn't it?
So, and Mike this time tells all the other guys, or Jonesy and Thorpe, to drop your weapons. So it looks like you're not a threat, I guess, even though they've been
he's
shooting
learned,
each
hasn't
other.
he?
He's had a life lesson. He's gone through a life lesson. So the aliens let Chris go. Chris heads back over to them, and the life pod magically floats over to the aliens. One of the aliens removes their mask.
It's the lady alien.
No, because I think she had it still on at the end, because Jonesy did that call me thing, didn't he?
Oh.
Anyway, one of the aliens...
I forgot about that.
One of the aliens removes their mask, and he's also got a blue head. It looks like a very similar mask to the other one. And all the aliens put their fists over their chests as like a salute.
Yeah.
And then the Navy SEALs salute back at the aliens. And Jonesy does this thing where he makes his hand into a phone and makes as if to say, call me, to the female alien.
So is that because he's learned as well? Because at the start of the film, he was like, don't get with that commie girl. And now he's chatting up the alien.
Absolutely. And then all the aliens vanish. The device vanishes, the pod vanishes, and all the aliens vanish. And then we see their invisible ship for the first time.
Yeah, still kind of invisible.
It's kind of invisible, but we can see the outline of it. And then it just zooms off into space.
Yeah.
The guys...
So they've completely failed their mission.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah. So they decide what they need to
SEALs.
do is go for a beer. Because
yeah.
So even though they're in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of possibly Russia, Azerbaijan, or Armenia, they're going to go for a beer. And then the film cuts to the Pentagon.
Yeah. And it feels a bit late to be having this conversation, but the two brothers, Mike and Chris, are sitting there at a desk waiting for like the superior to come in. And they're still like, right, so what's our story?
Yeah. They basically concoct an elaborate lie. But before they get to tell this lie to this man, the film ends.
Yeah. Right, what was going on here? Because there's like, the guy walks in, he looks at some papers, and then there's like a really ominous tone in the soundtrack. And then the camera zooms away, and Chris is in soft focus, and Mike's in focus. And I'm always like, it was trying to make me think that he was an alien or something. Do you know what I mean?
I didn't pick up on that at all, no.
Because it was more the tone on the soundtrack, because it was so ominous.
It did go a bit ominous at the end, yeah.
Well, the paperwork's not ominous. So, well, and I'm not giving this credit like the Sopranos, so it just cut out at the end.
I think it's just because they were going to lie.
Oh, I was so confused by this last shot.
Just by the last shot? So the film ends. What did you think?
Oh, it's an absolute mess.
Fun though, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know if it is.
It
was terrible.
It's not terrible.
It is terrible. Honestly, if you are going to try and say this is a good movie, I am going to
not even a little bit
absolutely go bananas at you.
I'm not going to tell you this is a good movie. I'm not that stupid. But it's not the worst film we've ever seen.
It's definitely not the worst film we've ever seen. But it's a terrible film.
It's not great, but there's bits. The stories. This is going to sound stupid. The story makes sense. From start to finish, your story is there. It's just the only thing that lets it down is its budget.
You don't see any aliens at all for the. What is the first 45 minutes of this movie?
Build up.
What is it?
Just build up. We've seen worse films than this on this show. We've seen worse films than this outside of this show when we used to watch B movies. This is a B.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a B movie alien versus humans film.
How has this got on Netflix?
I've literally got no idea about that.
It is a prime sci-fi channel, 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah. It's as if it's been made by the Asylum or Sci-Fi or somebody.
It's one of the Asylum's worst efforts, and I don't understand how this has got on Netflix.
No, it's a bit like Aerials, isn't it? From last season. How on earth did that end up on Netflix? This is like the American version of Aerials.
It is a bit. I the acting's pretty bad. The budget is non-existent. But it was really odd.
The story's there, and the story makes sense. It's only let down by its budget
and acting,
and it's because if the budget was bigger, you'd get better actors in there.
And directing.
Did you notice at one point one of the green screens fails?
Yeah.
This is the sort of film that I enjoy. I don't hate films like this because it's just this is who I am. This is what I enjoy. I enjoyed this film, but not for the right reasons.
I slogged it. I found it a slog. I've got to say.
When it finished, I actually said to myself, I didn't hate that.
Yeah.
And I was fully expecting to, but it wasn't all that. I realise I'm.
I mean, yeah. There is. I think this is one of the least original things we've seen.
Oh yeah, there's nothing original about it. There
is not a single second of this that is. It is almost why does this exist?
Yeah.
I don't know why this exists.
And if it exists, how does it get on Netflix?
Yeah. I don't know. It's not even got a trailer. I look at it. Yeah.
It's not got a trailer and it's got the wrong Netflix logo on its poster.
Having said that, it's quite an experience.
I'm just trying to see if I can find the budget, but I can't find it anywhere. And it doesn't appear to be published what the budget was of it. But no, I'm not finding anything. But some people are claiming it's the lowest rated film on Netflix. I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
Because I don't think it's the lowest rated film we've done. I'm pretty sure Deadly Detention was lower than that.
I think you're right.
How would you like to turn the tide on it? Where would you like to start?
It needs to be more fun.
Yeah?
It's not fun enough. You can
what do you mean, like lean into the budget restrictions and
why
go
not?
with it a little bit?
Yeah.
Make the aliens flirt back, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the fight scenes are terrible.
Yeah.
We surely could have done something a bit better there. There's the whole Faraday suit thing is just hilarious.
Do Faraday suits even exist?
When he's just standing in the lift in front of the alien, Mike's literally swaying back and forth, and she's at the other end going, "Don't move," like he's like Alan Grant in front of a T-Rex or something, and trying to create some drama.
When she says to him, "Don't touch anything metal," and he instantly picks up a spanner.
Yeah,
she's barely even finished saying the word metal. It made me laugh more than it should have enough, but I enjoy films like this.
It's shambolic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shambles.
Have more fun.
Yeah.
And if it's going to be this stupid and shambolic, then and you've got this scientist who specialises in soils but also is a security expert and can decipher alien languages
and knows the blueprints for the base.
Yeah, then you may as well have her be able to decode the weapon and at least have them shoot the aliens with their own gun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Also, can you really call it alien warfare if it's 4 versus 4?
How many do you need for an army? What's the minimum numbers for an army?
I don't know.
Look,
objectively, this is a terrible film. Can you have fun with it? I think if you're in the right mood and you've got... if we were watching this with a few people, I think you could have a good laugh with it.
Me and you back in the day would have really enjoyed this. In the days when we were watching films like Alien vs. Hunter and Mongolian Deathworm and Zombie and things like that.
And that's kind of why I wanted to pick it, because I thought it might be a bit of a throwback to that sort of thing, and that's one of the reasons why the show came about in the first place.
Exactly, it is. And it is a throwback to those sort of films.
Bring us back down to our roots a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe that's why I enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it. Like you said, lean into the fun a little bit more, and you've probably got a better film. But I don't know. I was thinking today. I was listening to Brett Goldstein's podcast today, and he talks a lot about like arty films and French films and things like that. And I think I'm the opposite to him.
Okay.
I think I'm the exact opposite film guru to him. He knows one side of the film industry, and I very much sit at the opposite end of that.
He's probably not watching Alien Warfare on Netflix.
He's not, but
granted.
But if somebody picked it on his show, he would have seen it. He's watched everything that anybody ever talks about. Do you want to talk Stream Table?
Sure.
Do you want me to run through it?
Yes, go for it.
So currently at the bottom of the stream is Temple, closely followed by Room 205, and then After. After was Sam's wildcard, the only other wildcard played so far this season. Happy Anniversary follows that, and then TikTok, John Henry, Urge, In the Shadow of the Moon, and currently at the top of the stream is The Disappearance at Clifton Hill.
Which was last week's movie episode.
It was indeed. Where does this one go, Nick?
So, in my opinion, I may surprise you here. It's not the worst film we've seen.
It's not as bad as Temple.
No, it's above Temple.
Yeah.
I also have it above Room 205.
Correct. You are not wrong there. It's much better than Room 205.
I pretty much... It's a toin cost. I have it level
pegging
with... a toin cost. I have it level pegging with After.
Oh.
And I'm not sure which side it goes.
That's interesting because they're both wildcard films, and we've got to make that decision now of who's going to definitely not win the wildcard tournament this year.
Because I quite enjoyed After because of how terrible some of the acting was in it.
Yeah.
But it's also a terrible film.
It is.
So it's kind of the same argument for this.
Yeah, they're both terrible films.
There's fun to be had in a bit of a hate watch type
It's
thing.
tough, isn't it? I think this...
They were both better than I expected.
Yeah.
Or more fun than I expected.
Yeah. I think this is better than After. Personally.
It's too close for me to call.
It's
I don't know.
so
I
close.
genuinely don't know which...
I feel like if you put those two films in front of me now and said you've got to watch one of them, I'd have more fun watching Alien Warfare than I would watching After. So I think
I don't want to watch After ever again.
No, nor do I. But I wouldn't be against watching this.
I don't really want to watch this again. But if the choice was between the two of them, I think I'm watching this again.
So does that mean After's the worst film? So this goes.
I think by a hair's breadth.
This goes above After.
Yes.
It doesn't trouble Happy Anniversary.
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
There you go. So unfortunately, Nick, you have not won the wildcard race this season.
Hey, look, it's a shot in the dark, isn't it?
It is indeed. You picked a film that was right up my alley.
Well, it's a terrible film. There's no getting away from it.
But I love terrible films. There's 3 wildcards left to play this season. Ross, Cook, Jordan Shenton and myself all left to play. Sam's still in the running as well. One of us is going to win. Let's see who it's going to be. Would you like to pick next week's film?
Yes, let's do it.
What are you looking for from next week?
Let's just give me something good. I need a palate cleanser.
Okay. I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Let's go for it.
It has picked a film called Paradise Hills.
Okay.
Any ideas?
I have no idea. Let's... I feel like this is a kind of a stock answer, but I feel like that could be a sort of horror movie, haunted hotel or something like that.
Yeah, it does sound a bit like that, doesn't it? It's not though. Okay. It's a fantasy sci-fi thriller. We haven't done a lot of fantasy. It's going to be interesting. It says Uma is a young woman who wakes up in an apparently idyllic reform school for young ladies, but a dark secret lies within its walls.
That's vague.
It is a bit. Emma Roberts is in it.
Oh, okay.
Awkwafina.
Okay.
Mila Jovovich.
It's quite the
cast.
Quite star-studded for us.
Yeah, it is a little bit, isn't it? It seems to be pretty much mostly female cast.
Good. Right.
I can see
sounds Intriguing.
actually two men on the list of IMDb's. It's also directed and written by females as well, by the looks of it.
Excellent.
So yeah, go and check out Paradise Hills, and in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast is the username. The email address, if you want to get in touch, is bottomofthestream@gmail.com, and the website is bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you'll find every episode we've ever recorded, all 5 season stream tables, and you'll even get some merch if you want some. Check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream for that. For a couple of quid every month, you'll get early access to the episodes, you'll get bonus episodes, you'll get a wildcard that Nick writes every month. No, you'll get a newsletter that Nick writes every month. And if you come in at a certain level, you'll get a wildcard. So you can pick the film like Nick has done this week. And also, check us out on Discord if you want to come and chat with us in there. We discuss pretty much everything that goes on in the world, and we have a lot of fun. So check us out in there. The link to the Discord will be at the bottom of the show notes.
My doorbell's going.
Who's at the
I'll be
door
back
at
in a
10
sec.
o'clock at night?
1 second,
No
though.
worries.
If you can't do that, then please consider leaving us a review either on Podchaser, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere that you can review podcasts. Maybe you could write it in an alien language and we'll find a soil scientist to translate it for us.
Let's do that. So
Deal.
Cool, yeah. So go and check out Paradise Hills, and we'll be back on Monday for another episode of The Wave. And then next Thursday, we will come to you and talk to you about Paradise Hills. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Bye.